Hello and welcome everyone! Today I'm going to show you how I made the Monsterbook of monsters from the Harry Potter movies. This is kind of my final for my crafting or sewing week, and yeah, that's my first tutorial and I hope I don't do a too bad job, and I hope you understand everything what I'm going to explain to you. So before we start, I want to mention that the techniques and the style I do or I use is the one that I like and which works for me the best, but it doesn't have to be the one that you like the most. You can always change the different things. We are going to take this modeling clay and we make our eyes out of this. So just open it, take some clay out of it and roll it in your hands. Until it becomes round like this. Then we have this round little ball and place it on top of our book and look how if we like it, it doesn't matter, you can make as many eyes as you want. You just have to keep in mind that you leave a bit of space down here and up there, because we want to put on the title of the book later, and this is then just how we work with it. Next, also these 4 eyes are like they are in a movie, that's the movie version, and in this case we have 2 bigger balls like these 2 and 2 smaller balls like these 2. We have to make some holes so we can stick in the eyeballs, and for this I'm using this brush, the end of this brush, and I'm just put it in like this, move it a bit so it gets a bit bigger, and then using my fingers to make it like this. Then we have the first hole of our, and this we are going to do with all of these 4 balls, and in the end I hope, or we can hope, that they look like these things. So next we are going to create the eyeballs which are going in the holes. I'm going to take a bit of the clay, rolling again in our hands, and then try to stick it in and look if it fits. If it doesn't fit, we just need to take off a bit of The next step is that we make the mouth. For the mouth, we also take this huge thing of clay, roll it again in our hands, put it down, and then we press with our hand flat on it and try to bring it out and make it look like a flat circle. But be careful, because you have to leave it a bit thicker, like in the middle, like here, because that's the place where we're going to stick the teeth in. And for teeth we need to make little holes in it, and if the clay is too thin we have the problem that it will break. And also be careful with not making it too thin on the downside and the side here, because that's where we will glue it to the book, and it would be that great if it's too thin there too, because that will fall off. When we are happy with how it looks like, I'm going to take the scissors and just cut it in a half. Like this. You can also, of course, use a knife. I just don't have one right now on hand. So, now we have those 2 halves. And now we're going to take our book and look how we want to stick it on. Like we put it here and pull it down and stick on this. And then hold so that it will go. That's close, so it's fast. When you take it off, we can see that there is this, that we can see the place where we just put it down, so that we know how to stick it on later. The next thing is that we're going to make some holes. I'm going to do this with this little wood thing, and it's just like I take this one and stick this in, wiggle it a bit around so we get a bigger hole, and it creates a hole like this. And I'm going to do this a few times. And be careful that you don't break the clay, because that is not good and it will look a bit awful in the end. But we have the holes in it, and this is how we're going to do this on the side too. Take our clay, just take a little bit off, just a little bit, roll it between our fingers so it will become long this time, not a ball, but it will be longer. Then we put it out, we cut off a bit of it and stick it into the clay. In our holes we made in the clay, and this is the teeth, how it then looks like. So that's make the teeth, and when we are finished with this, our clay is going to look like this. So the next thing we're going to do are the tentacles, arm things, whatever, which are coming out of the book there. For this we need now our newspaper. Also, we take a piece of the newspaper. I already used this a bit, but we take a piece of newspaper and rip it down just like this. And then we are going to just make it like this and putting it together, and maybe once again, and maybe we're going to roll it a bit down here to make it a bit thinner, so that we got here like something like this, so we have a beautiful and nice thin end. When it looks like this, we take our tape and we just take a little piece of it, then stick it to this, roll it around a bit, and just make it like this. So we have a nice sharp end like here, and then we going up to make this thing a tentacle, or this strange arm thing. And we're going to do a shape which is a bit wider up here and a bit smaller and tighter down here, so that it looks a bit better. I kind of like this shape how it is right now, so I take tape again, stick it to the thing, cut a piece of it, and then wrap it around. Just like this, and cover the whole thing with it. So just like this. So we're just going up. so. And then we bend it a bit, just like this, so it gets more in shape, and it's a bit like this. It's a little rounder shape, and it will lay nice on the book. Then we can take our book and put it on and have a look how it will lay on the book, how much it go down, and we can place and play a bit with it. So maybe you can make some of these things shorter, some a bit longer, and things like that. When you make these things, please keep in mind that you need quite a bit of them. You can, as always, do as many or as much as you want. You can make them thicker by adding more of the newspaper, or make them thinner by take less of the newspaper, but you need some of them up here, and of course also down there, so they will come from both sides. And you have to plan like they are going here and here, but be sure you leave a little space right here where we're going to stick the mouth on. And with this is how you can make all of these arm things. So after everything is glued down, I'm going to start painting, and I paint everything so it can dry, and later I can glue everything together and complete the whole Monsterbook of Monsters. Little advice: before you start painting on the clay, be sure it's a bit drier. It's not completely wet or smooth like it was when we worked with it. Be sure it's a bit harder and not so soft anymore, because it's easier to paint on it when it's a bit harder before you start painting on it. For the color of the mouth, I always choose like a pinkish color, and because I don't some soft pink, and because I don't have this kind of pink, I have to mix it by myself. So I will mix some red acrylic paint and some of the white acrylic paint together, and I hope I get the color that I want. We're going to color the biggest part of our tutorial, and that's the inside of our book. Paint to cover it, and I'm just paint this book black. It don't have to be really accurate or while we are waiting for the paint to dry now, I would recommend that you use the time to print out the 2 Monsterbook pages and the title of the Monsterbook of Monsters. As you can see, I used the waiting time to print and cut the pages, and also print out and cut the logo or the title of the Monsterbook of Monsters. And I'm ready to glue it down now, and afterwards we can move on to put everything together. To glue the pages down, I use just some liquid glue. You can also use some glue stick or whatever is laying around. Next I would start with gluing on those eye things, and I'm going to glue them down with some hot glue. But first we have to place them down. After the eyes are glued in place, we are going to move on with the mouth parts and also the teeth, because we have to glue in the teeth. After this is done, I'm going to glue down the two mouthpieces to the book. After these two pieces are in place, we can start with figuring out where our little monster kind of things are going to be, and also gluing them down. After all of these things are settled down and are in a good place, we are going to start with the most difficult, at least in my opinion, most difficult thing of all. We are going to put the fur on, and I hope it will work. So we start down and cover the whole side of the book with hot glue. Now we have to cut a hole that the eyes can stick through. after there's the hole for the eyes, we can finally put in the eyeballs. After the eyes are in, we are going to use a brush and some black acrylic paint to paint in some black highlights to make the eyes look more realistic. So now it looks like this. When we are happy how the book looks now, we can put on the book title. Just play around as before. Little nose parts, you just need again some of this tape. You cut a piece off and cut it that it's a bit like this and just wrap it together. That it gets a cute little shape. And glue this together with a bit of hot glue. And just paint it with a bit of black acrylic paint. Put on some hot glue on the ground and just put it on the book. And now after our book is completely done, there's just one thing missing. And this is the belt. After everything is done, we're just going to wrap around the belt, because the Wild Monster Book of Monsters just have to wrap around the belt so that the wild book can't attack anyone, and we are done. This is the final result of our Monster Book of Monsters. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial and you can follow all of the steps. If you have any questions left, feel free to ask me anytime. See you, bye!